So today I am starting the first of my seed sowing for 2023. I've started a few things already in the propagator, but it's the first day that I'm actually back in the greenhouse and it feels really, really nice. A lot of them are from real seeds, so they're in these white paper packets. I've bought from them since I started growing. They're based in Wales, so I know that a lot of what grows successfully for them will hopefully grow successfully for me being in Wales as well. But then I also have a few things from Baker Creek in the US. I tend to just get like 5 packets or something from them a year, just to try something a bit different that will suit the climate that I'm in. And then I also have a few flowers, so Sarah Raven is probably where most of them are from. I've got, what do I have? A lot of cosmos, zinnia, echinacea, which I've never been able to successfully grow from seed, so we'll try that again this year. Sweet pea, pale cosmos, these look like cornflowers, oh nigella. I'm a really big fan of pale, I suppose cottage garden style flowers, but these sort of like pastel-y pinks and whites. So that's the kind of vibe that I'm going for this year, as well as a lot of tubers. I dug up my dahlias at the end of last year and intended to put them in a dry place, but unfortunately I dug them up, left them in a pot, and where there was a lot of soil still clinging to it, most of them rotted, which was great. But yeah, that's my fault and something that I will learn for next year. So the trays that I use for seed sowing are from Patch. Patch Potatoes, I think, is the brand. They were selling at a really reduced cost, loads of these seed trays, which are probably great sizes for starting off potatoes, but they're quite big for seeds. I would like to perhaps transition to some of the Charles Dowding CD60 trays. I think they'll be much more manageable and you're just not using as much compost. And I think these are just a bit too big and much better suited for potting things on. But I've stuck with them and I kind of feel a bit reluctant to buy new. In terms of what I use for my labels, I've just got a huge box of like lollipop sticks, which have worked really well for me, and I've been using these for years. I think I got maybe a couple of thousand, and they just go straight back in the compost when I'm done with them. So I'm gonna crack on. I've got quite a lot to do today. I'm not entirely sure what I'm sowing, which is probably a bit of a nightmare to some people, but I'm just having a look at all my seed packets, seeing if it's a March sowing date. I'm not very good when it comes to succession sowing. I would like to get better at that, and I'd also like to get better at sowing in summer for kind of winter crop. So that's something that I'd like to improve on for this year. I'm just sowing some cucumbers at the moment. For real seeds, I tend to go off the packets because they are quite reliable, but the more commercialised ones that you'll get in a garden centre, you can be quite loose with those dates, I think. In previous years I grew a few in here in big pots, but they got quite big, and the ones that I grew outdoors, they did come on later, but they were fine, so we're just going to see what happens, which is sort of my ethos for gardening. chopstick as a dibber. I do have a dibber, but it's quite big and it's better for using at the plot for direct sowing. And the compost that I'm using is the multi-purpose Silver Grow by Melcor. It's about 14 degrees in here, which is fairly warm. This says it has been up to 27.5, bearing in mind I have the door open right now. It says the coldest it went down to was -2.9. I'm not quite sure when that was. I am at my mum's, so I'm not in here every day. I've been putting all sorts of dates on these. Who knows what time is anymore.